next Under the Lights. We got your back. Which top 25 team rolls while some get upset? Who's gonna lift the Martin Trophy? The Battle of Sarasota comes down to a Hail Mary. Flagged by the referees, what's at stake? A 4,000-yard rusher, and plenty more next, Under the Lights.
Hey, finish on me, finish on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Hey there, it's great to see you again. I'm Dave Aizer.
And I'm Kailey Mizelle, and thanks for tuning in to Under the Lights, Florida High School Football Final driven by Honda.
Can you believe we're up to week 5 of the high school season? Pretty much the halfway point for a lot of these schools, and almost time to start talking about playoffs.
Whoa, Dave, slow your roll. We have a lot to get to tonight.
All right. To tonight's games. Sitting on a 19-game win streak, top-ranked Lakeland hosted Hialeah Friday night. Lakeland came out running and ready to go in front of the home fans at Bryant Stadium, and they kept running all game long. The great DeMarcus Bowman gets the Dreadnoughts on the board first. The Clemson commit scores from 7 yards out with the two-pointer. It's 8-0. The Dreadnoughts were mighty impressive on the ground in this game with 330 yards, 135 of them by Bowman, and they also got a couple of rushing touchdowns by their quarterback, Chael Garnett. He ran for 95 yards on the day, including the sweet-looking score. For the second week in a row, the Dreadnoughts racked up 19 penalties, which is pretty naughty. Lakeland wins 37-6. As Dorothy once said, there's no place like home. 5 weeks into the season, and St. Thomas is finally playing a home game. The wind slowed down the Raiders' passing attack, but late first quarter, St. Thomas QB Zion Turner finds Marcus Rosemy back in the end zone. Yes, he does get that foot down before being chucked out of bounds. 7-0 St. Thomas. Back to Rosemy again, this time catching the slant, powering his way to the goal line, and it's 14-0 Raiders. That's offense. Jason Taylor's defense dominated, allowing just 21 yards on the ground, and scored thanks to Jaden McBurrows, who McBurrowed the ball again for a second touchdown in 2 weeks. Now, on to the second half. Jaden Henry does the dirty work. Watch this, Kailey. Fighting for yards, refusing to go down. He rewards himself with a 75-yard touchdown. St. Thomas rolls again, 36-0, and moves to 3-0.
And Dave, it's never too early to sneak in a sponsor plug, especially when you got a kid going nasty like this. Jaden Henry's ability to shed tackles and keep the legs driving, it's worth a second look for our Advent Health Run of the Week, 75 yards for the score. And fourth-ranked Bulls went up against Lowndes, Georgia to play in the Concrete Bowl. The Vikings way too much for Northwestern, holding the rushing attack to minus 12 yards. Romello Brinson did find the end zone for Miami. Bulls lose 48-21.
Earlier this week, a major distraction off the field left Dade County football players wondering if they were going to play in Week 5. It's a story that unfolded in Dade County this past Thursday and is an issue statewide moving forward. The officials opted for a work stoppage with the hopes of getting a deal in place by Friday. The issues vary county to county. In Broward, it comes down to about $10 more a game. In Dade, the hiccup was over travel pay. Forbes magazine reported in August that Florida high school football officials make 35 to 40% less than their peers in Georgia and Alabama. So remember that the next time you yell at the officials. To get to the bottom of this, we are bringing in Eric Esteban. He wears a lot of hats for us here at Fox Sports Florida, including hosting our recruiting segments, which we're going to roll out over the next few weeks.
That is what you call a tease, and Eric is what you call well-connected. He's a guy who always has a guy. Eric, what's up?
Thank you, Kailey. Now, with me here today to talk a little bit more about what's going on is a man who needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him an introduction anyways. You're at a high school football game. You hear the fans chanting blue. It's none other than for Larry Bluestein, the man, the myth, the legend. It is an honor to have you here with us tonight under the lights.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you for coming. Now, tell us a little bit, break down for us what's going on here today. today?
Well, first of all, as you mentioned, when we woke up this morning, the Miami Herald reported there wasn't going to be any football because all of a sudden here in week 5, you begin to think, what's going on? This is great leverage time for them to prove a point, which I'm totally against. I went on social media and conveyed that because I'm just not a believer you use the kids as any pawns, and that's
fair.
what they did. And unfortunately, this thing has gone on for 40 years. They don't work things out. They don't get the pay scale going. They don't look into the future. And for me, it's really frustrating because it takes the momentum away. 2 weeks ago, we had the hurricanes, as you mentioned. Then last week with the bad weather, and it interrupted, and we're dropping games, and you just can't do that. And what you're doing, Eric, is you're pawning the kids. And you know, on an adult issue, that should have been taken care of way before the season started.
Consistency is key. We want to be fair to these kids. We want to be fair to the fans of the program. Again, this is an issue that might be ongoing. We're going to keep an eye on it and see how it goes. I want to thank Larry for coming with us here under the lights. Be sure to stay tuned for more. Kailey, David, we throw it back to you.
So the refs heard the chant, let them play, and they agreed to a deal for the rest of the season.
So there was football at the Traz Powell on Thursday night. This is a battle. Edison strikes first on this touchdown pass. Keith Moore to Jaden Swanson. 7-0 Raiders up. Then Central wakes up. First, it's Keyshawn Owens. The touchdown run makes it 9-7. And the FIU commit had a pair of touchdowns in the second quarter. Travis Marsh looks right to Giovanni Ribalta. Great block there. Central lays it on the Red Raiders about as nicely as he can, 44-14. Unbeaten Edgewater hosting Winter Park in an Orange County battle. Senior night for the Eagles. Edgewater jumps out to an early lead thanks to Kanan Mobley's 24-yard touchdown pass to Anthony Whedon, the one-handed catch. 7-0 Eagles. Winter Park strikes back. It's Casey Chase who finds Dakota Mitchell, who has nothing but open field for the score, and we're all 7'd up, which would be great if that were a sponsor. And remember the Conley brothers, Dave? Well, they went off again this week. Isaiah Connolly here to the end zone. He rushed for 240 yards in the game. Then the Eagles get a little tricky. It's the Connolly brothers reverse. Jeremiah Conley runs it for 30 yards in the score. Kanan Mobley threw for 263 yards, 4 touchdowns in the 52-28 win over Winter Park.
We are just getting started. Remember, if there's a player you want to brag about, just hit us up on Twitter at Fox Sports FL.
You can also use the hashtag UTLFlorida. We've got a lot more to come.
Next on Under the Lights, don't sleep on Atlantic. And the Battle of Sarasota comes down to the wire. Under the Lights is driven by Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today. By Advent Health. Our goal is to help you feel whole. And by the Florida Lottery. It's your ticket. Claim it.
You're listening to Miramar's marching band, and they were getting down. Honestly, people, if you're sitting in the stands, take the time to watch these kids. They brought the heat.
All right, Atlantic out of Delray Beach is very quietly sitting at 2-0. They're ranked 6th in Class 7A, and they have a lot of Division I talent. Let's check out their game. One of the bigger games of the night, number 7 Chaminade versus number 17 Atlantic. Atlantic looking to jump all over the Broward boys from Chaminade. Atlantic QB Jacoby Dortch finds Bryson Clark with the one-hand stab, or was it? You can't have 2 guys in motion at the same time. It's coming back, and they don't score. Chaminade with the ball. QB and team captain Thad Franklin finds Braylon Brown for the 40-yard pass, which sets up the first score of the game. Chaminade would take the lead 7-0. After an interception by Chaminade's defense, they're going to add a field goal to make it 10-0. Nice kick, my friend. But Atlantic was not about to go away. You see they're doing a little pep talk there. This pass fools the cameraman and the safety. Bryson Clark grabs it in the back of the end zone, and Atlantic is right back in it. Down 4 to Chaminade, 10-6. We got a game. Now it gets super interesting. Brian Jones runs it in for the 11-yard touchdown, and the fans on Atlantic Avenue go crazy, but hold on. Shh. The baby's trying to sleep. 2-point conversion, and it's 14-10 Atlantic. But the Lions switch QBs on their final possession, and Brady Kelly hits Auburn commit Elijah Canyon first and goal at the 3, and that sets up the game-winning touchdown with 36 seconds left. Thad Franklin does the honors, and the fans back in Hollywood can celebrate. Chaminade wins 17-14.
9th-ranked Armwood back in action after a bye week hosting Chamberlain. Third-year coach Evan Davis would have to rely on his rushing attack due to not having his air attack available. One of those disciplinary things. It didn't matter. Eric Wilson toted the rock for 132 of the 253 yards Armwood had in the game. Wilson scored 3 touchdowns from 8, 13, and 15 yards to help Coach Evans pick up his 30th career victory, 41-21.
Every year, there has to be a team circled on your calendar for some extra motivation. If you're Riverview, I'm sure the Venice game was of high interest, especially since 2 of your best wideouts, Malachi Weidman and Chuck Brantley, jumped ship for Venice's high-profile schedule. It's the world LeBron James created. Thanks, LBJ. We appreciate it. Of course, super teaming doesn't always work, but you can't blame these players. IMG, Trinity Christian, every kid wants to play in the big game. So this game has special meaning for the Riverview Rams. And this footage brought to you by Glass Bullet Media. The Rams strike first. Trayvon Hall heads up the gut 12 yards to make it 7-zip. Venice Indians come back. Tight end bubble screen. Garrett French finds the goal line. We're tied at 7. Riverview not going away. The interception by Sambo Ung Jr. He had 3 on the night. Well done. That sets up the play of the night for Riverview. Time running out in the half. Sean White, the QB, not the snowboarder, throws a Hail Mary, and the 5'7" sophomore Amari Hayes goes up over 2 guys, including one of his own, to haul in the score. He spikes the ball. He keeps running. 14-7 Riverview at the half. Third quarter, Venice ties it up with a Brian Taylor touchdown. 14-all. Riverview's turn. Trayvon Hall with a 52-yard scamper. 91 yards on the night for Hall. 21-14 Riverview. Kaylee, what's that smell?
I hope you're talking about an upset.
I sure am. Venice fires back with the future FSU Seminole Malachi Weidman. Remember Malachi from Children of the Corn? He was creepy. Nothing creepy here, just some high fives. 21-all. Game comes down to a kicker. Dorian Hall with a minute left. Kicks the ball through the uprights. Trust me, it's good. Riverview pulls off a haul of an upset, and perhaps the game of the year for them, 24-21, first time they beat Venice in 11 years.
And how about that catch? The play of the game, Omari Hayes going up over his own player and the defender to come down with the catch. That, my friends, is our Orlando Health Catch of the Week. The Escambia football team entered their game against Gulf Breeze with one thing in mind. Their defensive line coach, Mike Davis, known as chef to the team, suffered a stroke earlier this week and remained in a coma, fighting for his life as the Gators took the field. Escambia, all heart and all fight. First quarter, A.V. Smith has time, airs it out to D.T. Gideon for a Gator touchdown, 7-0. And Gators showing off their arsenal. Frank Pazan grabbed early, does a 360 spin and breaks the tackle to get loose just shy of a score. And Dave, it's safe to say Escambia balled out for their coach. Smith flushed out of the pocket, sees Chris Hale, makes the play. Escambia wins 42-0.
Number 16, Fort Lauderdale's Cardinal Gibbons taking on American Heritage in Delray. Gibbons has Brody Pileggi at QB. Heritage doesn't. Brody tossed 4 touchdowns on the night, 2 long ones to Troy Stellato. Gibbons' defense would not be outdone. They got in on the fun. Majon Wright picks off the Zach Bohannon pass, and he takes it the length of the field for the score. Keep on rumbling, big fella. Gibbons rolls easily by the score of 33-0. Halfway home and still plenty of action to come.
And speaking of action, for all the latest in high school football, visit utlflorida.com.
Coming up under the lights. Butter the popcorn, we have overtime heroics. Under the Lights is driven by Honda. Visit your local Honda dealer today. By Vico Painting Contractors, a commercial painting company that delivers top quality work and excellent customer satisfaction. And by Orlando Health, a not-for-profit network of leading community hospital.
Welcome back. Now it's time for our top 25 reveal, which you can read below on the ticker. This comes from FloridaHSFootball.com. And Dave, with Northwestern losing, you had to wonder if there was going to be a change, and there is. Central moves up to number 4.
Edgewater sneaks in at number 5. I just want to see St. Thomas and Lakeland play right now. I mean, not to write off the rest of the schools, but the talent on both of those teams is ridiculous. And I know why Lakeland is number 1. To be the champ, you have to beat the champ. And Lakeland won the last meeting between those schools. Okay, 22nd ranked Carroll City. Can we show some love for them? Their schedule has been a gauntlet. Got to give them that. They started off by beating Deerfield Beach. Then they lost to 2 great Miami teams, Northwestern and Central. Then they beat Chaminade to square their record at 2-2. Now, we're just going to go play the toughest team in Jacksonville, Trinity. Let's just go ahead and do that. The Trinity Christian Conquerors hosting the Carroll City Chiefs, and this one was all Trinity. Kywan Henderson takes the inside handoff, breaks a tackle, and another one, and finds pay dirt. He had 138 yards and 2 TDs. Then in the air, screen pass from Ja'Cory Jordan to Marcus Burke. He's got blocking out in front, finds a sideline, and takes it down to the 1. Fernando Porter, well, he'd punch it in. He's scoring a 1-yard plunge, and Trinity Christian conquers Carroll City. By the way, this Friday for Carroll City, St. Thomas, come on!
Reigning state champion Mandarin taking on Robert E. Lee, but Carson Beck wasn't the only QB to watch. Kale Zara with a beaut to Colby Bates, who finds the end zone. And Dave, it was a sloppy game early. The 2 teams combining for 4 turnovers in the first 6 minutes of the game. Ball comes out of General's Jeremy Robinson's hands. And if we learned anything this year, we learned that they teach the scoop and score. In 2 weeks, the Generals have taken on 2 state champs and come away with 2 wins, 33-27, the final at the backyard.
The Deerfield Beach Bucks hosting the Oak Ridge Pioneers. Deerfield, they've got a pretty good player, Jalen Knighton. He's good. He's an FSU commit. He scores. Have I mentioned Jalen Knighton? He's good. He's an FSU commit. He scores again. By the way, there are, in fact, other players on Deerfield Beach. There's quarterback Michael Pratt, and there's wide receiver Xavier Restrepo, a UM commit, by the way. The Bucks are money. They shut out the Pioneers 42-0. The Champagnat Catholic Lions against the Nova Southeastern University Sharks. Kaylee, if a lion fought a shark, who would win?
Wow.
We're going to find out. Deion Small comes up big. In fact, huge. What a run! Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Sharks. More from Small. Inside handoff, inside run, another touchdown. But I don't know what this celebration thing is. I haven't figured that out.
It's a cool new dance move.
Is it? Okay. The Lions had some fight. They are the kings of the jungle after all. Great run by Calvin Montgomery. Some nifty moves, even a helmet askew. And then a QB keeper touchdown Lions, but it's not enough as the Sharks prove to be more beastly. They stay hot and win 26-13.
Western looking to bounce back against the heartbreaking loss from last week, headed down to Cooper City to take on the Cowboys. Freshman QB Colin Hurst finds Karan St. Louis for the touchdown, and Dave, they make it look so easy, but they don't just have offense, they also have defense. Eric Rosansky coming in hot, loose ball, and what do we got?
Scoop and score.
There we go, and Western slashes up Cooper City 56-0. And now we bring you our Vico Defensive Play of the Week. Giving some love to the D-line, Eric Rosansky with the wrap-up causing the fumble, and then he had his own recovery and score. Some serious defense on that guy, our big guy, and our Vico Painting Defensive Play of the Week. Dave, the most important quarter is coming up. I need you to bring your A game.
Hold up the 4 fingers, baby. 4th quarter.
Still to come, who's the record-breaking running back that is the player of the week? That's next on Under the Lights. The Florida Lottery Pick 4 Player of the Week is Keontae Coffey from Oviedo High School. Coffey had 408 yards on 40 carries with 5 touchdowns.
Coffey did it all. He broke the single-season rushing record for the school, a record that had been standing since 1991. Coach Matt Dixon says he is a strong but silent leader. He's no Tebow rah-rah type. Here's a quote from Dixon. He's an absolute warrior on the field who has the passion and perseverance to reach his goals. Teams know who he is and they load the box, and he still racks up the yards. Here's a look at this week's top performers. Make sure you go to our Twitter page at Fox Sports FL to vote, or you can find the nominees simply by punching in the hashtag UTLFlorida.
And we've had some great response from fans with this poll. We appreciate the interest, and if there's somebody that you want to get nominated, give us a shout out with the hashtag UTLFlorida just to make sure we see it.
The Bowls Bulldogs against the Creekside Knights in a great game. Thank you, WJAX, for the footage. Bowls QB Ben Netting fakes the handoff. Who says quarterbacks aren't athletes? Does anyone say that? Because look at this guy go. He doesn't score, gets brought down inside the 5, no problem, leads to the Wildcat. Caden Fordham, it's a touchdown for the Bulldogs, and I love this subtle celebration, just like Barry Sanders. Creekside's turn, quarterback Quinn Seeger. Watch this play. He's flushed out of the pocket, so he's got to throw on the run, and he's going to hit Ryan McGow. That's some impressive football. Now, more from Seeger. This time, he's going to fire a fastball to Jalen Hines, who does the rest and scores. We go back to Bowles and Netting and more running. This dude is a star. He's going to score, and Bowles is going to win 24-21.
In Jacksonville, it's Baldwin fighting Episcopal. Baldwin's Bryce Tompkins drops it in the bucket to Xavier McGriff, and it's a tie ball game, 7-7. Now it's Eagles' turn. Tucker Tomberlin takes the snap, but Tyson McClendon strips, and it's the Indians' Dale Walker making the play. Tompkins' turn, and the Eagles take it back. Cayman Clark nabs it, and this was a one-score game. Baldwin out on top, 14-7.
The Niceville Eagles and the Lincoln Trojans in a thriller. End of regulation, Lincoln kicker David Monroe hits a 41-yarder to tie it to 10 and send it to OT. That's impressive. That's great. How about this? In OT, Monroe again, this time from 51 yards, just inside the left upright. Come on. Lincoln leads 13-10, but Niceville QB Will Koch hits Sean Parker on a wheel route. He heads for the end zone untouched. Eagle Stadium erupts, and Niceville is 5-0 for the first time since 2016.
South Fork takes on Martin County in the Martin Bowl, and what a good boy this guy is. Late in the first quarter, South Fork quarterback Matthew Bowman keeps it himself, scores on a 7-yard run to give the Bulldogs an early 7-0 lead. A dominant defensive performance by the Bulldogs was led by Connor Watkins, who picked up 3 sacks late in the fourth. Brown through the air, finding Tyler Kreetzberg on a deep ball, making it 20-0. And South Fork hoists the Martin Bowl trophy for the first time in 5 years with a final score 20-7. It's time for helmet stickers, and as always, we have to give a shout out to Rydell for these amazing helmets. And Dave, I have to give a shout out to Seminole. It was a back and forth match. Seminole and Mainland, there was a returned fumble that got called back. It was so crazy, came down to the wire, but Jordan Smith balled out. 2-yard driving may not sound like much, but it won them the game 22-20 and saved their season.
Okay, pretty good. Mine's kind of a Lifetime Achievement Award. Keontae Coffey from Oviedo, we were just talking about him. Sure, his team lost, but this guy, they stacked the box every single week. He was still able to get over 100 yards. Over 4,000 yards for his career, now 4,034. It's incredible. Big props to you. It's, like I said, a Lifetime Achievement Award, but well earned, my friend.
Beast mode. Well, Dave, we're out of time for today. Thanks for tuning in.
This has been Under the Lights, Florida High School Football Final, driven by Honda.